Alright, where does Call of Duty go from here by Nostalgic Gaming? If it seems like I'm reacting to a lot of the same thing, it's because I'm starting a fresh YouTube account to try to get more content similar to this for reactions and stuff. We'll see how this goes. Where does Call of Duty go from here? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch, just feel free to let me know. Um where what the last good Call of Duty was. I'll go out and say it, in my opinion. Black Ops 2 was the last good Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 2 will forever be the peak, in my opinion, of Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2 had some of the best maps I have ever played in Call of Duty, and Black Ops 2 just felt so good to play. Just the feeling of Black Ops 2 is amazing. And it hasn't been the same since.
Every gamer in existence has gone through a...
Okay, so we're probably going... Based on this, they're probably going on the campaigns. Black Ops 2's campaign was okay. The Modern Warfare campaigns were good. Black Ops 1 campaign was really good. Call of Duty Ghost had a really good campaign. I think that's it. That's at least what I've played.
COD phase. Is that because it's the best franchise of all time? No, it's because it's always been there. Activision has been pumping these things out once a year since 2003 and perennially enticing gamers back into the trenches. But Call of Duty can't go on.
You know, Call of Duty 3 had vehicles. That was something. In multiplayer, they had vehicles. I don't remember if there's another one that tried it. I feel like there was, and it just didn't go well.
Unlike this, what was once a high prestige gold standard of gaming is withering away to nothing because of its refusal to fix its biggest problems. Before we take on this behemoth of a franchise, be sure to subscribe to Nostalgic Gaming for more content just like this. Now, if I made you sit through the entire history of Call of Duty, we would be here for approximately 12 hours.
We'd be forever.
This thing has been marching along for almost 2 decades with a new game in the main franchise coming out once a year after all. So here's the short version for those who didn't do their world history homework. Dev company Infinity Ward was made up of mostly lead developers who worked on the smash hit Medal of Honor Allied Assault, using their combined experience to pull off the most realistic depiction of World War II in gaming history. 2003's Call of Duty was born. Published under Activision, Call of Duty would boast historically accurate weaponry, vehicles, and some of the most technologically advanced AI in gaming. Gamers got to play campaigns through the eyes of American, British, and Soviet soldiers while experiencing the real horrors of war. They were affected by nearby explosions by way of ringing ears and
that'll get people.
And they would stare down the actual iron sights of their weapons. It was truly a triumph for the time. So it shouldn't be a shock to learn that Call of Duty was a critical darling and won several Game of the Year awards. But you might be surprised to know that it wasn't a #1 bestseller. For a franchise that would go on to become the highest-selling FPS of all time, Call of Duty had comparatively meager beginnings. It was the 8th best-selling PC game of 2003 and the 88th best-selling game overall that year in the UK. But still, it made Activision several $1 million richer, so the COD franchise was allowed to continue.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's still pretty good.
2010s and Call of Duty is in its golden age. The Modern Warfare and Black Ops series now reign supreme thanks to Infinity Ward and newcomer Treyarch, who both develop games under Activision.
Which is better, Infinity Ward or Treyarch? Honestly, they were both great until after Black Ops 2. Call of Duty Ghost had a good campaign. I didn't like the way the gunplay felt. Though looking back on it now, compared to recent Call of Duties, it might not have been that bad. What was after Ghosts? That's when Sledgehammer came in and they dropped Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare would have been amazing if it wasn't a Call of Duty. I think the fact that it was a Call of Duty is what brought it down so much. If it was its own standalone game that wasn't a part of the Call of Duty franchise, I think it would have done really well. Because honestly, it was a fun game. I had a lot of fun playing it. What came after Advanced Warfare? That's where I started falling off. Um, let's see. Ghosts, Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3. A lot of people liked Black Ops 3. I personally did not. I think the operators and the fast mobility while running and double jumping, it was just too much. I don't think it was good. I didn't like it. Infinite Warfare. I didn't even touch that one. That was consensus. Everybody hated it. Everybody hated it. Modern Warfare 2. It was definitely a step in the right direction. It wasn't fantastic. It was still pretty bad, but it was definitely a big step in the right direction compared to Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare. Black Ops 4 felt just like an updated Black Ops 3 to me. I didn't like it. I didn't really care for it. Though I did like that they started getting to battle royales. That was nice. Even though I'm not really big on battle royales, that was a big thing. The first Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, had a lot of potential. What ruined it for me, though, was the domination of metas. Everybody ran the was it the M16? And if you weren't using that gun, you just weren't winning, and it wasn't fun. That and the fucking shotgun. What was the shotgun? The horrible shotgun that could snipe you from across the map and just didn't feel good to play against. I think that was the big problem with 2019. I didn't really like that. Uh, I didn't touch Cold War. I heard that one was meh. I didn't touch Vanguard. I heard that one was meh. Modern Warfare 2. Um, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022 just I don't care for it. It feels pretty similar to Modern Warfare 2019, but I will say I do like the DMZ. Modern Warfare 2 DMZ, I do enjoy that. I do really enjoy that. I find that fun. All right, let's
No longer
continue.
staunchly in the war-torn 1940s, these new takes on Call of Duty gave way to some of the most interesting titles in the series, and the highest selling. Modern Warfare 3 still holds the franchise record for most copies sold, and broke the record for most day one copies shipped of any video game ever. In fact, it was breaking records that only Black Ops and Modern Warfare 2 had broken before it. So what made this era of Call of Duty so great? Well, on top of the polish and realism that had become standard by that point in COD history, their multiplayer matches were the best in the business.
Yep.
Yes, the campaign modes were noticeably boring with a few exceptions.
That's one less loose end.
But Call of Duty had a chokehold on the multiplayer shooter genre in the 2010s, and they refused to let go.
Yeah.
2010's Black Ops is an especially great example to point to, having not only been the first game to include the iconic Nuketown map, but also perfect zombies.
Oh yeah,
Only
the zombies
implemented
was
in
also
2008's
huge.
World at War, Zombies mode is the one place Call of Duty didn't take itself too seriously. On one map in Black Ops, players took control of one of four characters: John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, Robert McNamara, and Fidel Castro. And the whole point is to board up the windows and doors of the Pentagon and stop the encroaching zombie horde.
God! It appears the Pentagon has been breached. Zombies.
Yep.
That kind of dumb fun was the exact shot in the arm that the COD franchise needed at the time. Black Ops Zombies was proof that
That's another thing. That's something that I think they've started to stray away from with the zombies. Black Ops 2 had really good zombies too, where you could play it without doing any of the Easter egg. The Easter egg was just that. It was an Easter egg story you didn't have to do. It was just kind of there if you found it and knew how to do it. But you could just play it as a regular survival game. Survive the waves. But now they're leaning too much into the Easter egg storylines. It's nice to have those there. We definitely want those. But don't show us how to do it. Don't make it not neat, because they're making it part of the game rather than just an Easter egg. Like, they're actually pushing people to do it rather than it just being an Easter egg. I think that's the problem with zombies right now.
Call of Duty could be more than just a war simulator, and the mode, whenever it shows up in newer installments, is always cause for celebration, even if the quality ends up being middling at best.
Need some beans for the chowder here.
And speaking of newer installments, no Call of Duty game post-Modern Warfare 3 has been able to reach the heights of that release. The game's both critically and financially.
I think Black Ops 2 is really fucking good. Sure, Modern Warfare 3 hit the highest highs, but I think Black Ops 2 was the last great Call of Duty.
We're starting to take a dive, and there's one big reason for that. The Call of Duty franchise has a similar problem to that of sports games. They're predictable, and pretty much the same every year. Sure, we might see a difference in setting and a few gameplay tweaks, and in upgrading graphics to fit the newest generation of hardware, but COD has remained largely the same since its first release almost 2 decades ago. Even Modern Warfare 3 was criticized for being too formulaic, and that was back in 2011. It's not surprising that a franchise built off of retelling the story of World War II would struggle with coming up with fresh ideas.
The difference is the map setups, the way the guns feel, and the gun balancing. Those 3 things right there is what makes or breaks Call of Duties, in my opinion. The last Call of Duty that simultaneously had great maps, great gun feel, and great gun balancing was Black Ops 2.
But that's not the only reason for Call of Duty's weak creative output. The franchise's yearly release schedule really hurts it. While the development of the games tend to stagger between Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and some smaller studios, it still only gives the team a few years at most to come up with a brand new game. That doesn't leave a lot of time for the development of new and fun ideas, but it does guarantee a yearly boost in Activision's sales portfolio, which is seemingly the only reasons the execs push for this backbreaking pace. And Activision, especially now that they're Activision Blizzard, is definitely no stranger to crunch. As you probably know, especially if you've been watching anything from this channel before, crunch is a complicated issue.
Yeah.
It can severely and negatively impact the quality of a game. I don't blame the devs for keeping things simple when they're expected to churn out games at the rate of an automated factory. The franchise navigates in such a bizarre space that none of the games can truthfully be classified as an awful experience. Every new release plays smoothly, looks great, and does its basic job of functioning as a Call of Duty title, but that's exactly the problem. It does its job and nothing else. Maybe the most disappointing installment was Infinite Warfare, where there were literally endless possibilities on how to bring COD into the space age, but Activision seemed hard-pressed against doing anything fun. It's no coincidence that the most successful Call of Duty game today is the 2019 reboot of Modern Warfare. The promise of revisiting better times with modern graphics was enough to knock Modern Warfare 3 off its pedestal. But herein lies the problem once again. 2019's Modern Warfare is the most egregious example of Call of Duty's repetitive formula. It's literally trying to repeat the success of a previous series by updating it for current gen hardware. 2020's Black Ops Cold War fell by the wayside as far as sales and scores, and Vanguard is a complete disaster as far as the Call of Duty standards are concerned. Cold War saw the return of the beloved Zombies mode, but might be the worst received version in franchise history. And Vanguard took players back to franchise roots with more World War II gameplay, but was critically panned for being boring and predictably similar to its predecessors. How long can Activision keep up with this cycle of recycling
Not too much longer.
before fans are finally fed up? Sure, we've seen the addition of some more game modes in the apparent attempt to recapture the magic of zombies. Black Ops 4's Battle Royale.
See, but the thing with Call of Duty is you can't change it. If you change it, it's no longer Call of Duty, and fans won't like it. They need a way. They need to just make a game. Stop making new Call of Duties. That's what they need to do. They can make new campaigns, but they can't make new multiplayers. They just need to get a good multiplayer and just keep adding to it. Because if you're just adding to something people are already enjoying, great. Like, have a Call of Duty, make new maps, adjust guns, maybe make new guns here and there. People will love it forever. But if you keep making the same game and under the guise of it being a new one, a new Call of Duty, it's gonna look bad. They can make new campaigns, they can make new zombies experiences, but I think they need to keep the same multiplayer. They need to just, instead of making a new one, they just need to keep the same multiplayer and add to it.
Mode and the newer edition of Prop Hunt come to mind, but even those were borrowed from the success of other games. There's a pretty obvious sense of boredom from the player base, and the sales reflect it. While no Call of Duty will ever be a total financial failure, players have made it clear that they're disinterested in the continuation of the franchise, especially considering the Modern Warfare reboot is the best-selling game of the lot. It comes down to the fact that nobody making Call of Duty games is making them because they desperately have a story they want to tell, a new gameplay mechanic they want to test, or a world that they want to.
But see, that's further showing the problem. The problem isn't that people don't want to play Call of Duty. It's that people are getting tired of it being sold as a new experience when it's just the same. Instead of making a new experience, making a new multiplayer, just add to the previous multiplayer. That's really really what they need to do. And you can still keep in 3 different versions. You can have the Infinity Ward Call of Duty, the Activision Call of Duty, and the Sledgehammer Call of Duty. And they just have their one game that they keep adding on to. And instead, just release new campaigns and new zombies. I really think that's what they need to do.
Build. No, they're making Call of Duty games because they want to make money, and they'll continue to do the bare minimum for as long as they can get away with it. Call of Duty can't go on like this, but it will anyway. Well, that's it from me today, but if you're still here, thanks.
Then that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Anyway, that's where does Call of Duty go from here? That's pretty good. That was pretty good. I like that video. I think he kind of covered some issues, but didn't really. I think there's a solution that wasn't really covered that could be. They just, like I said, new campaigns, yes. New zombies, maps, and experiences, yes. But I think as far as multiplayer go, instead of branding it, instead of making a new multiplayer that's essentially just the last one, but different skins of things, They just need to keep the previous multiplayer and just add on to it. Yep.
From the moment you were born, you always had it all. And I guess someone dropped the ball.